Hi everybody, and I'm here with Dr. Clarence Tan, and we're having an upcoming workshop entitled Creating an Exponential Business. So I want to ask Clarence, what is an exponential business?
An exponential business is defined as a company that is growing not linearly at 1x, 2x per year, but growing at 10x or more. The likes of Airbnb, Google, any of these companies that are growing very rapidly. And most of it is due to the new exponential technologies that have enabled them to grow at that rate.
So when you say exponential technologies, what do you mean by that?
I guess exponential technologies are technologies that are coming at a very rapid rate. For example, like 3D printing, synthesis biology, Internet of Things, all these new areas of medical field and technology field that has enabled us to progress, amazingly. Which is why you can see that the prices of goods and things like that are falling at a rapid rate, because productivity, efficiency has gone up so much due to all this new tech, robotics, and so forth. And obviously the most exponential technology of all is the internet, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been growing, from a very low base to now. I think the penetration rate is almost 70%. I think the last statistics I looked at was almost 4 billion people on the internet today, and by 2020 there will be over 5 billion people out of the 7.5 billion by 2020. And these are all your future potential partners, collaborators, and investors. That's why there's no better time than now to be an entrepreneur.
So do I have to have a tech business? I mean, what if I'm a massage therapist or somebody in the healing industry or a counselor that is very much one-to-one, or even like a dog walker? How would this kind of workshop be applicable to me?
Well, then you basically learn about how perhaps you could disrupt your own particular business, or how particular technology could disrupt your business. The dog walker, for example, you might actually look at how to digitize your business, in the sense that instead of just walking one dog, you might create a platform that connect people who wants to walk dogs or love dogs with dog owners. Or maybe might be a company that is making a special robotic treadmill for dogs, and you might be able to go on that curve. The one interesting thing is that when you digitize anything that is physical in this world, essentially you put it into an accelerated curve. So for example, books, music, right? Once we digitize them, how many of us buy CDs now, right? Or how many of us buy physical books? Because essentially you can browse more books than you can ever do in a bookshop through any of the Amazon Kindle online bookstores.
Now, in reading about exponential organizations, there's 11 principles that makes a company exponential. Can you just quickly go through what they are? Obviously, we'll go in more depth in those at the workshop.
I guess I should mention, first of all, the book that you just referred to, Exponential Organization, is a book that was written by a good friend of mine, the original global ambassador for Singularity University, Salim Ismail. So essentially, the book talks about how businesses grow exponentially, and what are the attributes that essentially a business need to have to reach that kind of level. So there are 11 attributes. The main one, the first one, the foundation of this of a company that grows exponentially is, first of all, you need to know what is your MTP, and that stands for massive. It has to be huge, transformative, transform not just your business but the whole industry. Purpose, right? What's the purpose? What's your reason for being? What's your own MTP? What's your business MTP? Why you need to have an MTP? Because if you have an MTP, essentially it's the guiding principle, and also it attracts people that shares your value to join you. So you focus more on the company as opposed to political infighting and so on. See, Salim Ismail used to work for Yahoo Brick House as the head of Yahoo Brick House, which is like the innovation company for Yahoo. And essentially what he found was that every time they come up with a new idea, the entire corporation attacks itself. They don't want to change, right? Mm-hmm. So he called that the autoimmune system of the company attacking itself. So which is why companies that do well, like Apple, before they launch the Apple iWatch, the whole division is outside of Apple I mean, very few people knew about it. Only once they've introduced it, they brought it back in. Because if they would have it internally, then other people who are making iPads or whatever, like, oh, don't waste your time, it's a crap product. So that's the reason why. So that is the main principle. So an example of a good MTP is Google, right? Google's MTP is organizing the world's information. If you think about what Google does, everything they do, from the Google glasses that they try to launch, to the Google search engine, to the Google car, it's collecting information, organizing it. So it's organizing the world's information. Regardless of whether you're an investor, you are a customer, or you're an employee, you know what they stand for. Coca-Cola is open happiness. Singularity University, which I was affiliated with, is impacting 1 billion people positively, or was anyway. So first of all, we've got to figure out what's the MTP, and in the workshop, I think if you take nothing away, at least realize what your own MTP is. So my own personal MTP is seeking knowledge, sharing knowledge, and applying it to progress humanity. See, when you have the right MTP, so people are, I meet a lot of obviously innovators and inventors and entrepreneurs, and they are so worried about their ideas being stolen, they want an NDA and so on. The thing is that if your MTP is noble, it's to create a more positive impact for the world and make some money out of it, right? And somebody copies you, isn't that good? Because they're helping you accomplish it, because you can't do it yourself anyway. So that's why MTP is really important. So now if you go to the 10 attributes, there are 5 attributes on each side. On one side is how to grow the business exponentially, and the acronym is SCALE. So SCALE, S stands for staff on demand. I guess another word for outsourcing. What you want is to have resources that you can turn on and off. When your business grows fast, you turn it on and you can scale. If your business slows down, you can turn it off, and essentially you don't have a lot of heavy overhead. Which is why e-lancer and all are doing really well. C is community. So you need to make sure that you have a large enough crowd or community that can form around your business. If it's a very niche area and very few people need your service or product, then it's going to be hard for you to grow exponentially. A is algorithm. How do you use AI or software or technology to drive your business? Example I give is UPS, right, where they essentially deliver products, courier service to your house, and they make sure that their cars never have to go against traffic and make a turn. So I guess a right turn in Australia or a left turn in America. So by doing so, they save fuel and resource and time. L is leverage on asset. So try and basically leverage on what's already out there. If you need a building, an office space, maybe just get a hot desk as opposed to go and buy a building, right? And E is engagement. How do you engage with your customer and your businesses? I mean, you don't go to McDonald's to eat the best burger in town, right? And they always have some gamification stuff, for you to come in. So how do you engage with your customer? So that's how to grow the business exponentially. And once the business is growing exponentially, you need to find a way to be able to manage it. You can't have the normal hierarchical system of managing business, where you have meetings after meetings after meetings, and the people at the bottom have no idea why they're meeting these KPIs that have been put onto them, because they don't share the value. They don't know why they're doing what they're supposed to do. So we have the acronym of ideas. I is interface. So how does your customer interact with your business? Is it a high touch one where you need to go and talk to each customer, or is it like an iTunes platform where you can just pick what you want online, and while you're sleeping, ka-ching, 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 money is coming in, right? The second one is D, which is dashboard. How do you measure how well you're doing? What are the metrics that you're using? Is it number of people coming to your website, a number of people signing up from the website? How many people are actually getting value out of it? However you measure it, you need to set up some matrix, because what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. And then E is experimentation. Do you allow your people and yourself to try new things? If you don't allow them to try new things, there's going to be no innovation in that business. And if some new technology or new idea or new service comes in and disrupt you, that's the end of you. And then the A is autonomy. Do you empower your people to get the job done? Or are you a control freak? Everything has to go through you or some central bureau, which means you can't grow exponentially, because you be the bottleneck. And the final S is social media technology. Do you use like Slack or Telegram or Discord or WhatsApp to communicate with your investors, your stakeholders, your employees? So that in a nutshell are the 11 attributes. And you really only need 4, plus the MTP, at least 4, to be able to grow exponentially. You don't need all of them.
Well, it sounds really exciting, and as you can hear from Clarence, that every organization can benefit from this workshop. So I encourage you to come along to the workshop, and at the end of it you will have an ExO canvas, and you'll have a much better idea about your business as well as your MTP. We'll see you there.